Invictus Gaming's turn to ban. Lena.
Shadow Fiend.
Winter Wyvern.
Earth Shaker.
Ten seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Invictus Gaming's turn to ban.
Spirit Breaker.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Newbee versus IG. Game 3. We're already well into it here in the draft guide, so let's quickly speed through it. It was a Lena first overall pick. The bans remain more or less the same here with the Tuscan ban out in Phase 1 this time around. And then a Shadow Fiend Wyvern, the quick reply from IG. Darkseer was let through. Last game he got banned in this situation as Newbee going to an Earthshaker. But nobody wants the old Darkseer. Instead, it's a Spirit Breaker grab for IG. Of course, as you mentioned, Luo's one of his signature offlaner, Newbee, back into the Undying. Interesting. Not a hero we've seen so much of as of late.
Yeah. Kind of flexible. I think the Undying can either play that support role as much as like he traditionally didn't want melee supports. I think they fit in a lot better now. Just because of how tanky and durable and a lot of the buffs they've received. So, and also can go into that offlane if you want to pressure some kind of a greedy IG carry. With the SF pick though, I don't expect to see Rabbit on anything greedy, more likely something that can fight early on and have some strong lane presence. So overall, kind of different drafts. I mean, that's to be expected. Newbee getting Lena and Shaker, which were both banned out, and the Shaker especially a hero that Newbee traditionally have run all the time. They love to play it. It can help secure the mid lane, help out the off lane, and just roam around and cause all kinds of problems for IG.
It's not a combo we've seen as much of, so I guess at this point it looks like it could well be even a core Lena potentially Newbee.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance it will be a core and even mid Lena. Works really well with the Shaker. With those two together, I think Newbee have themselves a really good way to pressure S mid. And why? Well, he's a good kind of counter pressure support in mid with the Arctic Burn. I don't really feel like he can protect and save the SF. We're back on mine. So we're going to see what IG go into after this. Spirit Breaker, as mentioned, likely Luo's hero. And the next couple of picks going to be coming out soon.
So, what do they want here? Darkseer we've seen work really well. Spirit obviously great with Shadow Fiend Wyvern. That to me seems like the obvious choice for IG.
Which one can just go around be greedy? Try and actually farms and play a lot greedier than most supports that we see. So we'll see what that's going to be. Shaman comes out again. Patrol real on the previous game, gives them some pushing power. The SF will kind of replace the TA in this draft. Similar amount of damage output to the TA, just less Roche potential. And when you're on the Radiant side, that kind of overall will work out better. You can farm what the TA does using jungle stacks. And NewBee back to their same game 2 pick at a gyrocopter once more, feeling like the pick had potential to work even though it didn't end up winning that game 2. The Heroes actually had a pretty atrocious win rate, especially in late game, 6.85, but I think NewBee I think they know what they're doing here. I don't think it's a bad pick by any means, and it's great against the Winter Wyvern especially.
Hey, the Shadow Shaman definitely did some work for IG as well last time around, so they go back to the well there. It's not a hero that many teams have had success with, though, but Spawn can make pretty much anything work, and so they'll now ban out the Juggernaut. Rabbit Classic, and instead IG go for, Lifestealer.
Think about it. Good
the
hero.
Fast Bomb charges, though. God, I love seeing a real vehicle for Lifestealer. This is almost better than a Storm Spirit. Don't even need a level 6 to get going.
That's manly stuff you can have come in. And then later on, you've got the Blink Shadow Shaman who can Blink Hex with the Infest Bomb. And also just a good hero in general. When you go aggressive, go diving in, you don't have to worry about Rocket Barrage cooldown. Especially the cooldown anymore, which used to kite the Lifestealer with the slow, doesn't actually pierce the magic mune anymore. So Lifestealer, I think, really good this game. And it's a nice solid
They have
pick.
no control for him. It's just the Lina Ags for damage and maybe a Fissure Block. That's it.
And normally you want good physical damage against Lifesteal as well, which so far NewBee don't have. IG banned up the TA last, so physical damage options for like a mid-last pick is limited to just a Wind Ranger, I want to say. And I guess the Lina with an Ags may be the answer to that if you want to run Lina mid, but I've seen more of the Lina support from NewBee, although I'm still very flexible here if they want to do it either way.
As the clock winds down, NewBee will examine their options. I'm trying to think, what else?
And I really like the Wind Ranger.
Beastmaster is a hero that we've seen a bit of in the European scene. Gives you a lot of lockdown for Lifestealer if they want to run the carry Lina. Maybe a support Earthshaker Undying and an off-lane Beastmaster, but... what else is there? Anything that NewBee like to run in particular? So like a two-lay hero?
I just can't see them picking up another offlane. I feel like they're really lacking damage and Wind Ranger.
It is the Wind Ranger.
It's so good. The Wind run here against Lifestealer and SF. You've got Jackal to stop a charge coming in. You've got physical damage against Lifestealer, but it's not the Wind Ranger I was expecting. It's actually going to be an offlane Wind Ranger. It is going to be a two-lay hero. It's going to be Wind Ranger in the offlane. But
they're strong offlane.
Yeah, they can play it much more like a farming offlane and give Hal less farm. I feel like the Wind Ranger getting farm in a lot of ways is more important than Gyro getting farm this game, just because Wind Ranger is the hero that can impact and counter these heroes more than a Gyro can. I think this is actually a pretty bad Gyrocopter game all of a sudden with the Lifestealer outside of being able to kill heroes through Cold Embrace.
Well, Hal definitely likes the hero, so let's see if he can make it work. As NewBee get ready for their deciding Game 3 versus IG. Winner moves on into the final 4 of the upper bracket. The losing team knocked down, but not eliminated. Now remember, guys, winner bracket champions and lower bracket champions will both be coming to LAN here in Los Angeles. Last event, gods, we had 3 Chinese teams. We'll have at least 2. A third with the redemption vote. Remains to be seen. For now, NewBee heading towards bottom. Moo will be your Lina, Banana the Undying, Tule handling the Wind Ranger, Bug on the Earthshaker, and Hal on the Gyro. And on the Radiant side, IG, Rabbit taking over the Lifestealer, Super, the Winter Wyvern, Luo, the Spirit Breaker, a Luo Classic 430. Rushing the bottom mid is the Shadow Friend, and that leaves Chuan, as usual, boots first on the Shaman.
Okay, so we don't see any early TP wards placed this time around from either team. NewBee, it's the first time playing on that Dire side. Was their choice of pick or side? I believe they probably chose first pick since they first picked the Lina, and I imagine IG then chose Radiant. So it seems Radiant is the preferred side for both teams.
I thought Shadow Fiend picks the series. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Seconds to battle.
Teams will wait for the runes. A very slow laning or pre-laning stage here. Just one ward planted down. Nobody even trying to invade the jungle. No TPs. No aggressive offlane wards.
Very conservative play, and we'll see. I guess both teams. You've got weak supports in Shadow Shaman, Winter Wyvern, who are both very squishy. So you don't really want to put yourself in a position to get caught out by a level 1 newbie rotation into your jungle when they've got a long range fissure, gyro with rock barrage. As a result, both teams secure a bounty rune. No fight breaks out, and it looks like the lanes are going to kind of settle themselves into a 2-1-2 Newbee. As for IG, probably a similar kind of setup, maybe with a bit more flexibility towards an aggro tri lane here, it even looks like. Rabbit's actually in the off lane. Doesn't want to lane against this Undying Wind Ranger lane. And that would be a problematic lane for a Lifestealer. You have bad base armor, can't really stop the decay stealing your strength, and then Wind Ranger just pokes away at you.
Instead, it will be the Cowhead bottom with the Stout Shield, the 5 base armor, 739 health, so he'll take harassment, but he is a glutton for punishment. Should be able to withstand it, at least early on.
So, and this just means Gyro, the Lifestealer gets the matchup against Gyro, which is a lot better for him. Gyro just doesn't harass as much, at shorter range, and the Shaker also doesn't pose a big threat to Lifesteal here at top.
Well, eyes on mid, where Moo is getting the early 1v1 matchup advantage as expected, 4-1. Punishing 430 a bit, who's already committed a couple of raises here, but yes, not the best.
Yeah, always hard for SF in that first wave or two, and unlike what we saw Moo do, 430 is going for Ball Rush rather than the first item Wraith Band, so it makes his laning stage that little bit trickier.
Yeah, Lina now cracking level 3, has an early point of Fiery Soul for the harass, no points on the stun.
Charge in bottom, they're gonna just harass down 2 lay.
Getting a little perfect world lag here. Are you getting any?
I did earlier, I already reconnected, so it seems to be a little bit better since.
Uh-oh, too late. That boot shaman could put him in harm's way. He's already committed the wind run. If he doesn't get out before the shackles come through, may end up going. Oh, Chuan got him with the stretch armstrong shackles. Who have been turned around, expecting that he wouldn't be arranged.
The boots on 2 lay means Luke can't really keep up. They're going to be fine here. 2 lay actually doesn't take that much damage, and Chuan commits a decent chunk of his mana with the shackles.
Alright, Roland, I'm going to need to do the old switcheroo here so you can reconnect. Alright, you're on.
Regeneration.
It's like how at top is being pressured constantly. Super's got an Arctic Burn, Rabbit now with the 1 point in open wound, so pretty standard stuff in the opening here. The one big thing it feels like that the idea of going their way is Chuan on the Shadow Shaman is continually pulling, getting good experience as well as farm. Chuan always plays the style these days, team.
Oh, Rabbit's gone in, but he doesn't actually have the rage mana. He gets punished by a rocket barrage. It's not ideal. Still trying to fight his way through this.
He's got the HP, like he's got 2 tangos in the south, so he's got the regen advantage on Hal, which is why he's happy to trade somewhat inefficiently, because he knows he can always heal back up, and Hal doesn't have that same luxury.
And Hal may need to fare himself some additional regen soon, but looking at the overall lanes, gods, it is a clear laning advantage for Newbee as the CS is just off the charts. 20 and 7 on your mid Lina, crushing 430 Shafin with a miserable 8-1.
That's a really big win for Moo, and that hasn't been without help. Checker shot up once in the mid lane, didn't even throw a fissure, I believe. So Moo is just on his own.
You get this far ahead on Lina, it's an easy solo kill.
Oh yeah. Maybe even pre-level 6 if he gets boots, which are coming out in the career now.
Fun to Hal with the open wounds, but
fissure.
A good fissure will block that aggression off, and they're gonna park Chuan towards mid.
Yep. They're hoping for just that to happen. Lina gets aggressive mid because she's got such big lead. That's where you often go for the solid kill, and if you can beat 430 and have Chuan make that counterplay, that's where 430 will recover. That entire laning stage win will get negated with 1 gank, and Chuan is smoked.
Moo even got a bounty, so he's gonna be hard. I think level 6 when he pops the thing, if not very close.
Pop it. He's gonna be level 6 when Chuan comes in.
And he does not know Chuan's here though.
Oh, this looks potentially ugly for Moo. He actually scouts out the top rune there, just expecting a smoke gank. CH is there. Chizbug, the hero for Moo.
Reminds me a lot of the previous patch. You'd always see the Earthshaker just protecting his sniper or Shadow Fiend mid. Always ready with that fissure and also ready to break the smokes.
Yeah, that was a key play for them. You've got Alina dominating SF. You do not want to give any comeback money as well as, more importantly, experience to 430. But 430 does have jungle stacks, which is now getting scattered out. Undying picked up an illusion rune, so...
Charge. Bash for good measure. Too late, engaging into this. Charging forward, wants to grab his face boots, but that greed may end up costing him his life as Luo looks for the bash back. He gets it too. First blood again spilt by Chuan as Mu counter initiates, quickly cleans up that spear breaker as a return play. Now Banana looking for the body blocks. One more stun should be the death of Chuan, and it's a juke. Plays from Chuan. He may go down anyway though to the raw auto attack damage. Where is he headed next? To the north he goes. Mu gets completely juked. Chuan might even be able to make it to the side jump. Continues to squirm around. The pings are coming out. Oh, I think the cow's impressed that that Chuan survived this long. And Moose says, screw it, Nana. Ah, Chuan, you thought you got out. Nah, I just want to make you feel good about yourself for a little while, but down he goes to the end.
I think Tuleak made a really good bait there. With the Lina TP in, that would have been first blood going Newbee's way, if not for the fact that he got that bash. That was like as timely a bash as you could hope for coming out from the Lure Spirit Break. Otherwise, it's Lina with the first blood, Wind Ranger surviving and getting a lot more golden XP out of it as well. Or maybe Wind Ranger, whoever gets the first blood, but Tule would have survived if not for that bash. So, bit of bad luck going Newbee's way, but that's the nature of the Spirit Cow.
They're gonna charge on the Tule. They have the shackles ready, but it's a long way to dive. And meanwhile, for Super at the top side. There's a Mango ready, but no Enchant Totem just yet. Chizbug is body blocking, waiting for the Fissure to cool down. House also in pursuit. And while that's happening, they dive onto Luo a bit. Not ready to fully commit onto him. That's where Chuan in the trees. He runs into a hasted and angry zombie. The shackle comes through. That's the easy death of Chuan. No jukes for you, sir.
Tule is nice and farmed on the Wind Ranger now.
I mean, you called it with the Wind Ranger, but God, she is owning this lane. And this is after trying to dodge the Lifestealer matchup.
So, regardless of who they send, Wind Ranger is just going to have a good time. Will transition well as the nice Lifestealer counter, so... I think Newbee overall have got the draft advantage, and on top of that, they've done better than expected in the lanes, looking at the Lina especially. So, it's a big win for them here, and 430 will just be playing catch-up farm mode in the jungle, as you'd expect SF to be doing.
He's done a really good job of catching up after... He had 8 CS when Lina had 22, but I suppose that you have to keep in mind Mu left the lane and has not been farming the jungle, so...
430, I guess, a lot of the time where he wasn't CSing lane may have been stacking up jungle camps, but either way, you don't expect some disparity in farm for the mid laners. Charge going towards mid. I don't see this one being followed up on. They actually smoke, so that smoke gets scouted, and I think maybe something IG will look used to their advantage. I know the smoke is coming, and it looks like Chuan just going to back off completely.
The advantage is running. Cowering near their towers and not dying.
I thought they might like camp on the high ground with 3 or 4 heroes on like on the top of a ramp somewhere, but they don't want to fight into the Laguna Blade Fissure. Mu at mid could find heal here on Super if Wyvern's too far forward. Oh, they see it. It's gonna be a Wyvern now.
Fissure, stun, and Laguna.
Yeah.
Nice and simple here for Newbee.
Not the best result from your smoke gank, but it was never going to work, so it's better than getting no kills once that smoke had been scouted out. And Lina continuing to kind of snowball. This is where I'd like to see Lina maybe fall back jungle a bit, or at least have a support stack the jungle so you can complete that Yules at a really good timing.
Here comes your first Infest Bomb, diving onto How top lane. Needs to get the call down up nice and fast, but will be too late. Call down only hitting Rabbit, who was raged and really didn't care. I imagine, gods, is something we'll see a lot more of, these Infest charge bombs.
It doesn't ultimately feel like it's a great trade, or I don't know if I'm saying worth it's the right way of phrasing it, but it doesn't really feel like that hurts Newbee. They take a bottom tier 1 tower, 8.5 minutes in, Wind Ranger is solo pushing a tier 1. And IG are committing 3 heroes to kill a Gyrocopter, who to me is just not the key hero on this Newbee side. Gyro is not the big scary late game carry. If anything, that's going to be more the Wind Ranger, who's going to be a potential late game carry, even going for this mech build. And similarly, the Lina, who is snowballing, is going to be a bigger issue than Gyro. Gyro can always just have a high impact through levels, and he's level 7 already. Rocket Barrage cooldown, got the max out nuke from the Rocket Barrage, the cooldown online, so that gank doesn't really develop into any kind of objective or mid-game power for IG. So I feel like for Newbee, they're still okay with exchange.
Oh, Banana. Oh, he'll be okay, actually.
It's Tule who's in trouble.
They decided to turn and go a different direction. They found the tastier fruit.
Yeah.
I will take him down, 2 left down, and that will delay the mech as well. So really nice scrap there.
Yes,
Or 30 with DD rune making the difference.
Kill you don't want to be giving up when win range is as fun as she was.
And good news for Newbee, Moo is rushing this Yule Scepter, and he is ever so close to completing it. At which point he's got an easy way to stop the charge, and he's also got an easy way to solo kill pretty much anyone except for that life stealer.
And Little Chuan farmed out of his mind as well. 1,100 gold on top of the Arcane Boots. Kill securing all over the place.
It does feel like it comes at the expense of the lanes a lot of the time for IG, as well as the early fights. Like last game, he didn't come to like 4 fights with 5 clips, but prior to that, he'd lost almost every fight. Wards were dropped, and then they tried team fight without him and struggled. It was perfect to poop its pants. But if you get through that stage with teams a bit weaker, then it really pays. Yeah.
Kill looking to get out. They see the tombstone dropped and a full retreat come out from the side of Newbee, but yeah, it feels like very much a distinct playstyle change where they want Chuan to be able to just have more of an impact, giving him more farm at the cost of some of the other players on the team. But it's worked so far in game 2 at least, although that was a pretty back and forth game that Newbee could have won.
Now the Yules is online. Mech also about to be completed on both teams. Shadow Fiend close to his. At the same time, your Wind Ranger also very close. They're neck and neck, really. The Radiant Observer will scout some movement here, but it might be too late. 430 pops the haste rune. Fisher comes through. Right. Shackle not gonna latch. And with that, 430 should get out. The wards get dropped. They're even gonna turn this on Chizbuk. Nice placement of those wards by Chuan, and a great counterplay, securing the kill with the mech, the Earthshaker. At least only a support going down for Newbee.
Handy pickup for IG, and Chuan swooping in again. So we'll see.
Oh no, not this.
Classic. No Radiance, I guess. At least we can be happy about that. But yeah, this is Lifestealer. This is the
loader Lifestealer.
Yeah, the loader stealer.
The loader stealer.
Oh man, you can't fight this golem. I guess once it gets low enough, you can try right click it down. But this thing is so tanky, high armor, boosts up everyone's HP around them. That's the other scary thing
you're
about
gonna
it.
want to cancel that TP.
Yeah, this is not a good time to fight. They are chipping away at the golem though, but it's a full HP Lifestealer with Enrage, who's going to be coming out.
Hey guys! Did you know I was in there? Well, now you do. Another stick not quite available. The mana from the stick charges.
Lucky for Tule, otherwise it's double kill for IG there. And they get the Tier 1 tower. That was just nice timing for them to go in the aggressive. Moo now at mid has to be careful himself.
Does have a Yule Scepter. Does not see the charge coming though, and Moo will get punished for it. Going down here, one more auto tech, IG. On top all of a sudden. A couple of good fights brings this game from what was once a 4,000 gold lead and sub 10 minutes back to dead even. Oh, how the tides have turned.
That was just, yeah, a huge sequence of events for them. IG are in right now. For the time being, they've got the Spirit Breaker of Lure, who's comboing great with the lifesteal. In that case, it was just like a different way of playing things. Rabbit just marching in with the golem. I like that a lot better than the kind of classic Infest Bomb in the charge is nice, but I feel like having the Golem just put Newbee in a spot where they couldn't defend the Tier 1. And when you've got Shadow Shaman who can just drop wards at the tower, you've got such good damage to bring down towers with. The zoning Golem just does work. So I'd like to see IG continue to make those kinds of plays using the Infest.
On dying now, finally getting some extra levels in the tombstone. He went for a 1-2-1 build, and now he's grabbed 2 more points in the tombstone, so... The long glass getting close to max, and might be just in time as they're looking to initiate on Rat. Fissure is there to start. Lina Fulp, Laguna Blade comes through, and he does go down before he can get anything off. Though they curse Chizbug, he takes quite a beating from the zombie. It's too late here. The follow-up is super. Worms into the trees. Arctic Burn out to end, met by heavy resistance. He removed, but that's okay. 430, split pushing. Luo doing his best, or at least IG trying to rat it up a bit.
Yeah, that was Newbee bringing 5 heroes, so kills that do gain them a lot and very important, especially onto the Lifestealer, but they may find a 3rd kill if Lewis not careful. He got a haste rune, but Fissure Shackle and he's dead, but no Shackle target available for Tule. What do you think of the mech build for Teal? Do you feel like it's too conservative for him, or do you think it's like something they needed to be able to fit into IG?
I definitely think it helps them fight into IG, and I guess they don't have another mech builder, right? Undying's just not farming this game. Same time, he gets an Ags, Lifestealer, and Shadow Fiend have to be very careful about their positioning, so it seems like Newbee just want to take more of the 5-man style, and with that, I guess the mech is the choice.
Wow, Rabbit in a rough spot, gets an Infest out, nice little play there.
He tries to get out, Creep will not make it, but yeah, I guess this was what Newbee wanted to do. Drop the Tombstone, spam Fissure, and just keep on pushing. Make IG walk into the AoE, into the Tombstone,
and this is where the
mech does come in handy for this.
Oh yeah. The mech is really nice for this style of play, but
at the same time, you do have to get a lot more done with it compared to an egg. So I don't think it's paid for itself yet by any means.
Their mid to late game is going to suffer as a result, so we'll see. It puts their lineup more on a timer here. At the same time, we've seen IG looking to get aggressive and make their plays happen now.
No, they're trying to push without the tomb. This could be an opening for IG.
No tackle.
Charge through from Lua. He gets onto the backline. He matches this on 3 heroes. Echo Slam committed. And it's only for Lua, who even Nether strikes deeper. He will end up going down, but they got the Undying off that. And now they're looking for more Requiem. They get it off. Second kill. Ina down, and now Newbee on the run. Surprised they stuck around without that Tombstone. Really got punished.
Luckily, Spirit Breaker dead means no follow-up charges, but good hold IG, just dropping the Serpent Wards from the trees and catching them by surprise, and a great charge from Lua. This is just classic Lua Spirit Breaker. He'll just charge on in, stun 3 or 4 heroes, often die, but set up a great team fight for the rest of the cores on his team, for 430 as well as Rabbit. And also Chuan finding himself getting a lot more farm. Picks up an Ogre Club more than halfway to the Aghanim Scepter.
Well, Gods, how do you feel the teams are matching up now? Good hold from IG. Do you see them pulling ahead as this game moves along, or
yeah,
does
I think
Newbee
so.
have some potential here?
I think with the Gyro being kind of sacked this game, which was probably the right move, Newbee is still in trouble because Wind Ranger has gone for the mech build, which so far hasn't really paid off. Going complete utility. 2 lays even now going into a 4-staff. Maybe this was just a game where you wanted the Wind Ranger played more as a core with the Ags, Blink, into DPS, be it an MKB, Daedalus type build, and have the Gyro go for more of like a Drums, SMY, just tank up, be on the front lines. And Gyro's going that build, so it's very much like neither Gyro or Wind Ranger is going to offer any mid-game carry potential, and then your mid is Alina. So you're not looking at much carry potential either.
Not yet. If he gets to that Ags refresher stage, or even a Hex maybe, but
yeah.
Just not farming explosively right now. As Banana will get out by Rabbit, has the armlet. It's about going in.
He already coming down. How on the move will get scattered immediately by Radiant Vision though.
They had Smoke Chuan for this, but Rabbit gonna TP out. He swings on towards mid.
Seems like he wants to get here in time for the Ancient stack, so we may see another Infest play come out from Rabbit.
Saw the one early. Haven't really seen too much since then. But once there's a BKB on the Spirit Breaker, just like I think it was last game, or maybe game 1, there will be no counterplay for it.
Yeah.
Aside from just using yourself, perhaps.
Yep, so he's infested in, he's looking to get on the move. It looks like top lane is where they want to make their play, but they've already lost SF, so this is not going to really get all too much done. Instead, they kind of redirect towards mid, say, okay, we can't get to top time to back up SF. Let's try and at least secure the mid tier 1 tower, but very risky to keep making this push when you've lost your mech, your Shadow Fiend out of the picture. I think for a Newbee, you can even defend this tier 1.
The classic scene, Thunder. All the frenzy is. There's a Naira down, and they break down. Classic damn. I think he gets here.
Yeah. Head drums the Gyro.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
It doesn't. VPN to make everything work. So
well, why doesn't he share his perfect VPN with us? That sounds like an appropriate thing to do for a friend, a chum. We need to have a little talk with our buddy.
Yep.
Not gonna remain our buddy for much longer if he keeps this nonsense up. I'll tell you that right now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Roland's agreeing with me.
Dude,
Yes,
Roland.
I'm all good, Roland. Come on back.
Yes,
Come on
Roland.
back to the lag
You
box.
have our permission to beat the crap out of Winter.
Winter's
the
actually...
two Davids approve.
So Roland's actually a lot bigger than Winter, but Winter's still bully.
Yeah. He's older. You've got to respect your elders in
He's got to be careful though.
Asian cultures.
Doesn't want Roland to rip his arms out of his sockets.
Oh. High ground push coming from Newbee. Full side. Not the team with the Shadow Shaman, but Lifesteal the SF.
They're stepping up to the streets. Rabbit now raging, getting a little bit out of position. He though could be in trouble on the way out. But the wards get dropped by Tron in an excellent position. Then the call-down comes through as IG engaged, and they're fighting into the wards as well as into the call-down on the other side. So it kind of evens itself out. And now Chizbug will be forced back. Too late, almost dead. Has the 4-staff ready. They're gonna lose Banana as well. A 2-for-1 thus far. Newbee forced back, rebuffed in the end. Juan just ran up to 4 heroes up a hill and dropped the wards and didn't get punished until after they were down.
Yeah, it was.
I was shocked to see he got away with that.
I guess they'd kind of used a lot of it. I mean, they still had some disables. It wasn't completely.
I
drained.
thought they had some. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
they did use everything, but jeez.
Well, not the worst trade for Newbee. They get a lot of damage off onto the tower. They get down some great vision. There's a high ground ward in the Radiant base, a ward on the hill around the tier 2 tower at top. So they've got really good map control now out of this. And on top of that, they also get the 1 kill. They farmed up some servant wards, which wasn't all reflected in the gold change. So trying to get themselves in a position where they can take down Roshan, although IG themselves have good wards down around that Roshan pit, so we'll likely see any movements towards it unless Newbee try and smoke up and go for it. But even that is a very obvious play to make.
Speaking of Newbee, Too Late is going to finally make the transition into a carry.
I don't mind the force stuff. I think forced into Ags may have been a better build this game. The mech,
Dire's top tower
yeah, I guess no one else can build a mech this game. Undying can actually. I think Undying may have been the better mech hero. You just get it much later. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
I feel like I'd be okay with either item, but both seems a little bit too much utility. That said, he may still have time to catch up.
I like Banana's item build. I don't know if it's going to be a Crimson Guard or the Atos. Either is great against the Lifesteal. Atos is actually ridiculously good hiding melee carries. Even like Lifesteal, yeah, he's got rage, but as soon as that wears off, you just spam Atos on him. I've seen against heroes like Wraith King, where the Wraith King just can't attack when you're against an Atos.
They're going to find Moo in the river with the backup of Luo. The charge is there. The kill scored. Closes in on what could well be a BKB. Meanwhile, for 30, he's grabbed his Yasha. And they say, let's rush, baby.
Yeah, they've now secured it. They'll drop wards to make sure of it. 3 observer wards hovered around the pit, sentry as well to detect any shenanigans, and Newbee will have to just let this one go.
Quick and easy for Newbee, or for IG. Nothing quick or easy about that for Newbee. Is IG are gonna move up. Now pressing forward on the top lane. Rabbit aggressively begin farming up the waves. Sanj and Yasha next on the list. Bit underfarmed here on the Lifestealer, but they're really counting on 430 to do the bulk of the lifting.
And this is, yeah, you transition more into that front line tanking type Lifestealer. 430 the Aegis even, so very much signaling that he's going to be the kind of key damage dealer. And Rabbit can always just get into the middle of the fight well to do damage with his rage because of the infest potential into Spirit Breaker, or later on the Shadow Shaman with a blink, which I imagine will be Chuan's next item now that he has the axe.
Yeah, Blink Refresher seems to be the patented Shaman build nowadays. Maybe a little BOT action if the mood is right.
For Newbee, late game Gyro, we've seen this hero just really struggle in general against like physical damage cores, and just the hero's never really scaled amazingly well into the late game unless you're ahead, which has often been the case because of how good his early game is. But with the weakened early game, Gyro just does not seem powerful anymore. And
Lifestealer is just not a hero he can really kill. As long as the rage is reserved in the landing stage, you shouldn't die. And I don't think he died once in the landing stage. Now the Ags finally almost done a move. He really slowed down a bit on the farm. 4 deaths to his name, 2 or 3 of those after the landing stage ended. But at long last, Scott, he's about to get the Ags. And this is a tool that should help them quite a bit against Lifestealer, though not against the ancient granite golem.
Says you've got an Ags, well I've got a golem.
I'm a transformer now, bitch.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, Laguna this, please, I dare you.
I would do it.
Yeah,
Just
refresh Laguna just for the golem.
Quick
Make a
focus
point.
fire, you know? Screw that thing.
Yep.
This is the siege engine.
I really feel like the Lifestealer Infest Ancients is something that hasn't been truly explored for its full potential. Like what Alliance were doing definitely was a little gimmicky, but it was by no means like a full-on gimmick that had no competitive viability.
Oh,
so.
they have a Shaker blink now. NewBee want to take a fight here. Smoke also available.
They're not speaking yet, though.
They're thinking about now. They're gonna.
Will they scout this out?
No Radiant Vision yet. They'll see Banana. Luo.
Oh, he's got a glimpse here, and it looks
Just
like
a glimpse. The blink revealed. The shackle is there. Luo trapped away from his team. Too late. Not even using a focus fire for this, but they will get the kill.
he could have almost got a charge off there. I'm surprised they didn't use more of the stuff. Like LSA wasn't used. He could have charged top lane potentially. Instead, he was just trying to run away. But
Uh-oh, move. Walking in, that's a bit far. The curse comes to top 3, and this sets up beautifully for 30 as Hal gets forced back. They're gonna war trap move. Chuan making the swag plays will bring down the Helena as well. And now Shackle coming through, but there's no follow-up for this. Rabbit will munch his way right through the tombstone. And IG, they make it a 2-for-1, but they do it wall 4-5. They get both kills. Very well executed, and now they may maybe march forward, try to force a buyback here.
yeah, with SF Aegis, they're just so powerful here. Rapid also. There's many heroes who can siege high ground without Aegis, but Lifestealer is probably one of the best in the game. Rage, we can just use the Rage, the tower, and then if you feel in danger, you just back off and wait for your next Rage. And when it's got a 16-second cooldown, you can do it very frequently. No Shackle for you.
Now the open wounds, the engagement forward onto Banana. And they'll keep him out of position, but now Rabbit's Rage is about to end. He needs to get out of here. Sanji Yasha, oh, good dodge by 430. He needs to make sure he does. They're bringing in the gyro though. The echo comes through from Chizbug. They definitely knew he had a dagger from the earlier engagement. So Cal running in deep. BKB's here, and now second life coming out. 430 ready to rock and roll. Re-engage. Doesn't have a Requiem. They'll get shackled to a creep. IG. They may have overextended here. Two heroes locked together. As the Shadow Fiend blows up, Chizbug nearly dies, but he does survive, and Rabbit limps towards him. He won't be able to get the kill. In fact, goes down. That's an Aegis down. 2 cores dead. The Spirit Breaker, I think he just TP'd out. Not exactly sure, but he's off to gallop towards the top lane. Ends up being, I mean, effectively a 4-for-1 there with the Aegis also being dropped.
That was so nice. Too late saving the day. I was looking at this fight, I was like, how do they win this fight? Step 1 hit a 2-hero shackle. Then I'm like, okay, SF's about to respawn with an Aegis. They're still going to lose this fight. And I was like, okay, they're going to hit another 2-hero shackle. And he does just that. 2 double hero shackles. SF gets brought down once. They then get the shackle on the SF to the Lifestealer of all heroes, the 2 most important IG heroes. That was much needed plays coming out from Tule, because before that IG were positioning perfectly, dodging all the shackles. They were just forcing Newbee to throw heroes at them to try and save the racks, and also just forcing out the Force Staff to just keep the Undying alive. So IG were not overcommitting until finally a shackle landed, and from there Newbee take the fight.
And it shows you just how potent the Shaker can be as a high ground defending support. A hero that we saw a lot in the previous patch, but really dropped in popularity, gods. Do you see any particular reason why everybody's picking Shaker, or he's relatively uncommon?
China's picking Shaker.
Outside of China?
Outside China, ooh.
Yeah, this is my first time casting Chinese Dota in like 6 months, I think. So.
I think he's just doesn't have a high enough pace in the laning, like outside of the lane stage where he can roam around, create kills. Once you hit that 10-15 minute mark, he's not all that active, mobile, doesn't really offer the same kind of utility as some of the other popular supports do. So he's kind of too slow paced, I guess, is the best way of putting it.
I guess in a lot of ways he's like a poor man's Tusk.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Tusk to me is better on most scenarios. And I feel like if you're not comboing him with a hero like a Lina, or in this case you've got 3 good heroes to combo him with, you can set up a Shackle, a Cooldown, a Lina. It's not worth picking him, but Newbee very much drafted around the fact they had a Shaker this game. But
bro, disconnect from your gyrocopter.
But that whole Newbee still in a bit of trouble. From behind, SF is still leader, and IG still have a very powerful team fight. We saw the Winter versus wreck Newbee that last fight. The SF doesn't really have any obvious answers. You can't stop the BKB Requiem this game on their side. They've got to keep hitting shackles from Tule. He's going to be the hero this game. Needs to transition in some damage items. More importantly, than the Gyro doesn't even have a BKB yet, so Hal's probably looking at this.
Gyro like, just like you said, he's just the tank. Just run in, try to live as possible. Let Lina find a Laguna target. Let the Wind Ranger find a shackle. Give buy time for your Shaker's Echo Slam, and That's it.
Yeah.
He feels more like a bristleback to me in terms of his role, if not his tankiness at this point.
I wouldn't even mind seeing some kind of different item builds from Hao. Go for something like the funky E-Blade build we saw from 430 once after the BKB. I just feel like you're going to build these damage items at such a slow pace, they're not going to be irrelevant because you're always going to be 1 or 2 big items behind the IG cores. So getting an item that's not just strictly damage but has some extra utility, E-Blade, you can save a teammate, save self from a life stealer or an SF. That maybe more to your team going for like an MKB next or whatever it may be after your BKB.
Right, so joining us, this is our deciding game 3 here, winner bracket, day 1 action of the China qualifier. The winning team will move into the top 4 of the winners bracket, and we will have our other winner bracket match, or one of our 4 quarterfinals. We have next, that's going to be eHome taking on Tong Fu. The best of 3 was scheduled to start at 5, but I believe will be delayed until this game concludes. So basically have a minimal downtime here if all goes well, guys.
That one maybe a bit more one-sided than what we'd expect out of this series, but Tong Fu did make their way through the pre-qualifier.
Is it King J who's on Tong Fu now? I can't even remember.
No, King J is not on Tong Fu. He actually played. King J is the IG coach.
Oh, he's the okay. I could not have been more wrong. So I don't know what I was thinking of, but oh, is it DDC? I feel like is there one veteran player on Tong Fu, or I just thinking of a different team?
Bing Q, not Bing.
Oh, this
Bing
is like
Q.
the Tong Fu Wang Zhou lineup, right?
Yeah.
Like Zek Bingo and oh god.
It's the Zinq or U9.
U9, Zek
Bingo,
Bingo.
yeah.
Okay, LPC.
Faith joined. That's who it was. Faith was the big.
Yeah, there was one veteran player. Okay, so I wasn't. I was very wrong on the details, but I remembered one vague fact correctly.
You're on the right page. Just
that would be like half a chip if we still had the jar.
The right idea.
Mercy, no chip, please. Have the Ags though on Wind Ranger. Could push for a shackle here. 430. Bold position. Let's get back into this deciding game. Big match for both teams. You win this game, you win one more, and then you're one match away from coming to LAN. It's quite a quick and cruisy qualifier, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's no big group stage, no prolonged format, just 8 teams, double limb, win 3 matches, and in you go.
Yeah, and as soon as you get down to 8 teams, it is over really quickly. Like that's not a lot of matches you have to win to qualify for LA.
It's the one nice thing about China is it's a little more top heavy, so schedule than like say you're up, for example, or I think you could even argue maybe SEA or Mecca as well. Yeah, sure you've got like the top 5, but using just 8 teams can be tough in those regions. Make for a very concise format, which is good, is there's not too much time before the fall major.
Here we go, Newbee ready to jump. They've got great radiant vision up.
Banana's the first
smoke.
one revealed. Super gonna start flying away. Hao will reveal himself on the tower. Newbee.
Now
Just
I
give
do
up
know
the
it's
gang.
coming. Yeah. The one smoke reveal kind of reveals things for him, and we'll see the creep lead the way. Mud Golem with some potential annoying stuns. It's not a life stealer. They may not realize that.
This one's a dominated one. Well, yeah, I guess they might not.
You can see the color on the minimap, so probably now they'll realize nothing pops out.
Extra hurl boulders, just proving to be a bit of a nuisance, but only that. Waiting for the initiation from one team or the other. They get the gyro BKB now.
Newbee have to chain stun very well against the BKBs. They need like a fissure into a shackle shot if they want to be able to take a fight, even at their own tower. But IG say, we want Roshan coming up soon. Let's just back off. We forced Newbee to commit 5 heroes up here. We know where they are on the map. Let's now spread them out a bit.
Don't mind if I do.
Roshan's still not up. It could have respawned a minute ago, but in fact it is the max duration 11-minute respawn.
Especially when you find a DD rune down there as well. You're thinking, sweet, you've hit the jackpot, but the case. And Newbee gonna... Both teams will be having a bit of a standoff here. Top lane's far enough pushed out that Newbee don't have to commit any heroes up there, and neither team knowing when Roche will respawn means it is going to be the big objective, although... For IG it's a bit easier. Helm of the Dominator allows them to camp a creep inside, well, theoretically could, but...
This catapult's like, get the hell out of my...
So he just dominated another creep. I was like, where did that mud golem go? He dominated another creep, and then he still gets the little baby golems from when your creep dies. That's kind of interesting mechanic, I guess.
I guess they time out at some point.
Yeah, the baby golems always time out, so it doesn't matter too much.
Their beautiful lives just be short for this world, as both teams are going to smoke. Rabbit in position, primed on the high ground. All the smoke break at once. Who gets the jump? It didn't smoke with the initiation, but the BKB rage was quicker. And then they turn on the lure. They commit to Laguna just for that. So 430 runs in, but he runs into trouble as the BKB ends. He may end up going down here to too late. Shackle shot available, locking 430 in position. And it is how zoning the rest of the squad back. They lose their prize Shadow Fiend. He's forced to buy back. Rabbit didn't really get much done in that fight, and Schwan trapped in the pit, waiting for the ward trap.
Hal's positioning was so good that fight. He was far in front of his team. He takes the Winter's Curse, which doesn't even matter because no one's attacking him, so it disabled no one but Hal.
Nice Shackle interrupting Rabbit. Now they turn, but Moo gets ward trap, and then Schwan holds 2 land position. Great Shaman play. They need a little more help here. The Spirit Breaker wants to come in. He's ever so low. Charge up, not up yet. The 4-step will save the Lina.
So Tule's just making plays.
Only the Shaker down. Yeah, you know, we asked about the item build. We weren't sure about it, but he's making these items count.
Yeah, this 4-staff has paid for itself time and time again. The Mechem's still like, yeah. I mean, he's had it for so long, it's probably not enough value to him, but it has slowed down his item progression as far as the other items he's getting. But he hit multiple shackles there, which were needed. And on top of that, that 4-staff to get Lina out of dodge is very important. And IG committed an SF buyback. Worried about the Roshan attempt from IG. They've got another creep in the pit with the Dominator.
I don't know if they can contest again. If Shadow Fiend dies here, that's probably a lane of Rax.
Yeah, it gets tricky.
With the dieback timer, what you're looking at, like, what, 100 seconds plus at this point?
Yeah.
Level 18, yeah, he's pretty level.
Be close to the 100-second mark. And Newbee are the ones controlling this Rosh area. They've not completely dewarded it, but they also don't Rosh incredibly fast with Gyro. Wind range are decent if you've got a damage item, but so it's just utility.
Buy that first item, a crit. Often the choice here. But maybe wants to save for buyback first, with how much value just the pure shackles have brought to the team.
And with Roshan being a big just standoff right now, this is where having a it breaks out right before Roshan, you can buy back. And we saw last game with or going back to game 1, was it, with Rabbit on the Luna?
Hal just strutting up mid. His team is quite far behind him, but he plays as though they're all directly in his wake, and IG none the wiser. No wards in that mid lane.
I like that move from Newbee. Just push out the mid lane knowing that IG aren't likely to jump on you with SF buyback on cooldown.
That's the intimidation push.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to walk all over you, and you're going to let it happen. They were right.
So Banana now has the complete Crimson Guard. Great item against the Serpent Wards and the Lifestealer damage. Less so against the Life Snap. He's hitting so hard, but very good against the Serpent Wards with the Ags.
Well, the Dominator proving here, as you mentioned earlier, gives them a little idea that the Roshan is happening. They're going to move in. They have the Infest Bomb. They also have a BKB charge. There's no way to interrupt this. Very risky for Newbee to go for it.
Yeah, they get out. So they're going to keep forcing IG back here, and top lane's actually being pressured. It's not really. There's no actual lane issues that IG have to worry about, but they're not farming if they're just hovering around the Roshan pit. Although for Newbee, they're also not getting great farm outside of their Ancients and maybe a little bit of the lane.
Well, Shadow Fiend being given a couple minutes here for his buyback to cool down. I suppose that's the good news for IG.
I don't feel like either team can afford to get caught in the pit. That's just where you lose the fight. The Winter's Curse coming out from IG. For Newbee, it's the Blink Echo Slam into LSAs, Shackle Shots. So neither team can really afford to get caught there. And whoa, double damage rune spawns. This is always a very dangerous proposition when this comes out. Although it gets denied.
They're baiting it, but...
Mind. Ogre McGee comes out.
Jerk. Very ugly jerk. Not a fan of his hairstyle, I gotta say.
Yeah. This is actually one of the underrated aspects of the Helmet and Dominator is the scouting potential right now. If not for having that creep in the Rosh pit, ID would be playing incredibly blind here. This stops smoke, like Rosh and smoke sneaks. It stops just Newbee walking in after dewarding.
And you don't want to be risky or like infested lifestealer in a creep.
Yeah.
He walks into the pit, they just probably throw everything to kill him, so...
It's very much an underrated item for the scouting it gives you, and we're seeing like right now IG just keep on sending a creep back the pit. Newbee kill it, he gets another one, send it to the pit. You don't care about giving up 30, 40, 50, 60 gold, whatever it may be. You just want to make sure they are not taking Roshan under your noses.
Well, nobody's going to get ambushed because they're both constantly scouting out the pit, but it's IG who make the first move. The terrifying Ogre Frostmage will zone them back.
Yeah.
For a moment.
Both teams will just poke their noses in, do a bit of damage, then quickly realize, oh, they're actually coming, let's get out.
And the old do-si-do continues.
This is
Newbee will push in mid.
How long do you reckon this Roche standoff lasts?
IG will push up bottom. This reminds me of like 6.78.
Yeah. I could see that neither team getting Roche for 5 minutes here.
Oh, I don't think it'll take that long. I think there will be a bloodbath within the next 3. In fact, probably now.
That's a gem.
It's the deck. Chuan with the quick grab.
Okay.
They actually could have gotten a Yules off when he initiated in for the gem, but...
Very unnecessarily aggressive from IG to... Yeah, you've got the gem and you want to D-ward around Roche, but...
Do it with your team, not just with your Wyvern blind.
And also, I guess it's almost similar spot to the Roche pit. If your team comes with you, you're setting up for the Blink Echo, the Shackles. It's a very bad spot to be in because Newbee see you with the ward there. Even though you're taking it out, Newbee have the vision advantage. So that was just unnecessary D-ward to go for, and the IG now having to contest Roshan without their Wyvern, their Winter's Curse, such a big spell.
Chuan with the initiation, he tries for the ward trap, but doesn't work any longer thanks to that 4-step. They clean up the wards, now Too Late gets charged, he's popped Windrun, the mech comes out as well. How quickly being focused down, not yet dead, the extra pass at the job. Now the Laguna can come in, Chisbug lays the hammer down on IG. Blockers 2, just now respawning and trying to rejoin the fight as the Wyvern. So it's essentially a 2v3 with the Wyvern unable to get involved, but it seems the Shadow Fiend is strong enough to zone everyone back.
No Laguna for now, Roche still healthy enough that I don't know if 30 wants to risk it, but does look like he's going back in. Gyro also not using the buyback here at Newbee. Looks like they may just have to give this one up. Tule's coming back, we'll be able to scout this out power shot, but
sees what's happening.
Gyro no bad. Look like they may just
TP coming in. Dying can pass it. Tombstone up in 8 seconds. Their power shot, and 30 gets bashed. Really awkward time for that to happen. The rest of the team not that far off. Lean Laguna Blade also online, but they get jump up too late. Now they're gonna curse him. He slowly gets slapped on by a zombie. Then the zombie gets hexed in position. Laguna Blade was thinking about using on Chuan, but I think Moo realizes he's got to save this for 430 still. 430 has the BKB. They're gonna fissure, trapping to it inside Tombstone. But no problem. No BKB. Get that off. Moo also jumps in again. He goes with the stun, but he doesn't have the depth to go. They need more locks from Chisholm to get the jump on the Shadow. He grabs the agent. 430 out. Moo, even with the Laguna, it hardly tickles the IG squad. And now Newbee trying to chase the backliners they can handle. Super trapped himself up on the high ground and now needs to run away. How pops his BKB. And when the dust settles, they still hang on to the Aegis. The gem back on.
I was on Earthshaker and he just lost it.
And he lost it. Yeah. So yeah, now it's back to the Raiden.
It was about to okay, they stole a gem but lost Roshan kind of situation, which maybe being at least tolerable for Newbee, but they lost the gem, they lost 4 Wind Ranger, both their supports, and Aegis now in the hands of 430. IG come out on top of the longer Roshan scene. Newbee just, the Wind Ranger dying during the curse was so close. The curse was just about to wear off, and if he gets off the Windrun...
The Windrun mech force staff, he lives and he turns the fight.
Absolutely. All he had to do was survive that, and then he could just kind of skirt around the edge of the fight, throwing power shots, shackles, maybe even get healed up by a soul rip mech, whatever it may be, and it's a very different fight. The fact that he just barely dies during the curse, it must have been like the last 0.1 seconds, meant that RG came out on top. He was just trying to buy time for the Gyro respawn and just couldn't quite do enough.
And it just feels like one of those games where the Wind Ranger has to come up big because Lee can't solo kill anyone too important. Maybe the Wyvern, but Wyvern normally the one in back. Chuan generally is the one to initiate with his Blink wards. And the cores have either magic immunity or just too damn tanky in general. As they charge up with Gun to Banana BKB to deploy, they're going to engage, but it's Shackle comes out, Tippy the turn. Moo also jumping full Laguna Blade committed as they bring down the lift off the bat. Moo turns with auto attacks. Fortunately, his BKB, so he's not forced to attack Hal, who got Winter's Curse there. Very nice. They'll clean up the wards, here down, not looking to turn this, and they might lose 430 twice as quickly as IG win a fight. They're about to lose a bigger one. Down goes 431, second time around. He'll have a BKB, but he's fighting against the whole squad. BKBs, tries for the Requiem, tries for the turnaround, but too late, don't care. Continues to lay into him nice and fast with a focus fire, and then they fight Super. It's gonna be 6 lives. Deleted, Newbee. Hey, maybe it's better they lose these Roche fights, guys. They seem to be better without an Aegis.
Gives IG too much confidence there, and that was great play from Chisbug. The fissure especially, like the The Echo Slam was what secured the kill on the Lifestealer, but the Fissure was the most impressive part about that fight. He split up the entire IG squad from the Spirit Breaker, and they couldn't blow up and kill the Undying at the start. It was just the most perfect zoning Fissure you could hope for, and then the Shackle from too late. First, he gets the 4-staff save, then he gets the 2-hero Shackle on the 2 again. You Shackle the SF and the Lifestealers again, the fight is over. We've seen it once before, we see it again, and Newbee now break the high ground. They've got to be careful, because SF does still have buyback available.
Same time, they are looking pretty strong now. Rabbit going to engage onto Hal, but while that's happening, Moose cleaning up Chuan quickly, doesn't have the buyback. That means no wards for this fight. Still, you've got the Bash Bros moving forward, specifically Luo charging past the heroes into the catapult. Aldon comes out as Moo narrowly gets back in the nick of time, looking to turn this one around. Hal will re-engage. Tule, Shackle again, has no wind run, stepping back, trying to retreat. They're going to heal him up, the curse is deployed. Fortunately, like, not doing that much damage without a focus fire, so Bananas for now, but the real cleanup begins as Newbee may throw away a fight, going the other direction. At the very least, no, 2-hero Shackle trying to retreat. They did force out the Shadow Fiend buyback. He's in a bit of trouble. Has the 4-step charge coming forward, and no Shackle to cancel it. Gets caught, gets bashed back most likely here. No, the wind run, the turn with the focus fire. No, sirree, says 430. Finally ends his life with the raise. 4 heroes slapped down, but this costs IG a tier 3 and most importantly, a Shadow Fiend buyback.
Yeah, the SF buyback is something they... I guess at this point, you still got 4.5k gold, can still look to pick up their next item soon. It's in a risky spot where if they lose a fight without it, they could just straight up lose the game. The Lifestealer is no longer a big threat to Newbee. They can just kite him during 6 seconds of rage, then all they've got to do is stun him up once. They've got plenty of damage from the Lina, the Wind Ranger, even the Gyro now with the Butterfly. Going for more utility items, but he's just going to catch up through successful team fights and is actually out-farming everyone outside the SF, who he's pretty much on par with. So Hal's had a incredible recovery as far as his farm's concerned.
He has less CS than Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend is 17, 4, and 5. And they're basically dead even on farm. And when you look to towers, pretty much even there as well. I guess it's the buybacks. I think 430's bought back twice this game. And you could just see how it hits his economy.
You can just see, like, dropping the Serpent Wards and running, very much signaling that they do not feel confident right now. They are not able to play that 5-man each type of lineup which they've wanted to play with the Shadow Shaman and Lifestealer. And IG have a double on 430, which won't really go to much use here. Wind Ranger on the side of Too Late picks up an MKB now, so we have got the ability to deal with any evasion on the Radiant side, although I don't believe there is any. SF could have gone for a Butterfly next, but he'll see the MKB and go for an MKB of his own. I like this pickup. It's been sorely needed. Wind Ranger has just been styling on them, using the Wind Run in these fights aggressively more than defensively. And SF, as a result, just needed an MKB. MKB Satanic probably going to be the build from 430 here. Needs to be careful because he's still very squishy with the MKB.
You mentioned that, but there's the Lina to worry about. And Moo, not only does he do a lot of nuke damage, he also does a lot of physical damage from auto attacks. So.
Until he gets the Satanic, 430 is in a lot of danger in these fights.
Agreed. And Wyvern ain't going to save you necessarily from that much nuke damage.
Looks like Rabbit will go for the AC, so that can possibly provide a little bit of extra help to 430. Super on the Wyvern needs to be on point with who and he called embraces. We're definitely at a point where it's unlikely to set up like a Rocket Barrage cooldown kill on someone just because it heals so much when you're looking at percent-based heals into the late game. So
and you're not saving the bells just for the cold embrace. You are throwing them all out right away as soon as
the main worry is if you sub something like a shackle shot. You can shackle as the cold embrace is wearing off and then focus fire him down. So that's the main thing, is while he's cold embraced, disable Winter's Curse. Spirit Breaker has to charge in and protect the cold embraced hero from getting core lockdown spells thrown out onto them.
IG on the smoke, might get the ambush here for Newbee. Super dropping down the ward, and they do scout heroes out. They're going to blink it with Super off the bat. They curse the Wind Ranger, try to focus her down. Hal drops a call down, but it's really not on a whole hill of a lot. As Too Late is dealt with, has no buyback for 80 seconds, but they look good up 430, and man, does he melt. Rabbit likely to be next. Newbee on the hunt, despite a beautiful initiation that deletes the Wind Ranger. IG getting outgunned by Moo's raw firepower. You kill the Wind Ranger, but how do you deal with Alina?
They just overcommitted. The Winter's Curse was used too early, feels like. Didn't even get onto him until the Winter's Curse was wearing off, so it didn't really feel all that necessary. And Wind Ranger actually got the force to the high ground, which, if not for the Nether Strike following him up, would have led to Tule even surviving it. Good news for IG, there's no buyback on Wind Ranger. Bad news, I don't think it's going to matter. They're losing at least one lane of Rax. They're
Good
just
news
not
for
losing the
Newbee,
game.
there's no buybacks for 3 IG heroes.
This is actually, yeah, 2 lanes of Rax, huge creep wave coming up top.
This is looking like GG unless Chuan's got something miraculous up his sleeve.
Yeah, you're a Shadow Shaman, there's not much you can do. You haven't even got Serpent Wards at this stage.
IG not ready to tap out just yet as Newbee takes 2 melee racks as well as a range mid and rotate on bottom looking for the 3rd and final. Chuan still recoiling on, doesn't actually have TP scroll. He's got to make the long walk of shame back. While Chuan, well, he's not even walking back, he's walking to the side shop. Basically forfeiting the base and with, I guess, him.
Yeah, maybe looking to buy a TP, come back and defend with, but
it's too late. BOT's in. Wind Ranger's here. This will just about be the megas for Newbee. 1 Rax away up top, and the creeps have taken care of that. It's official. Newbee are up mega creeps. It will take a colossal throw.
You've got a life stealer with like no. If you had like a Mjolnir
Now,
Battle
never
Fury,
say never, gods. Don't forget that alliance game. But
I'm
it will
willing
be a
to say
throw
never.
if they lose. It will be a colossal throw if they lose.
This is to me a very much a never situation. It is going to be like an all-in mid lane push. I don't. If trying to like pick up a refresher here, like sell your Blink Force and have enough money for a refresher, then maybe there's a chance. But he hasn't got the money for it. You could sell absolutely everything, but then you wouldn't have mana. You can't sell the Arcane Boots. You need that to give you the mana pool for the refresh Mag's ulti. So just gonna be one set of wards. They've got to go straight for the throne, and there's a tier 2 tower in the way. And for Newbee, you took 6 racks. Guess what? That's a shit ton of money coming away. Everyone should have buyback. What are you doing today? He spends his money, does not have buyback. Sell something. Sell your base boots.
He bought BOTs earlier to fight bottom.
Silly. I guess that does justify itself. But if I'm too late, I'm almost thinking let's sell an item so I have buyback for what could be the only hope IG have left, which would be just a push.
The Galactic Cow was looking for an opening in the dire jungle. Does end up backing off. And IG now down mega creeps. They're trying to play tower defense.
They're not pushing. There's a creep wave top. You've got to defend. Wyvern cannot defend alone. Wyvern can't even defend 1 lane, and there's 2 lanes pushing in when you go all mid. So
Newbee are just Camp Roche. They know it's coming soon. The safe play.
I mean, if IG aren't tapping out, this is what you do. Like, it's very much in IG's court to make a play here. Like, there is no criticism for Newbee doing what they are doing right now.
If anything, Newbee are probably thinking, IG, this is BM. You're down mega creeps. Just call it.
Yeah. Still need to pick up like that as soon as he can. He hasn't really got for it. You sell your Basher and pick up a Maelstrom probably. I don't know. There's no real recipe for success here against mega creeps.
You pray to Ice Frog that you randomly get 1,000 gold, the golden catapult reward.
So, issue.
Will
MMR taken into account. Connect. We got another game 3, guys. Games wasn't enough. We're gonna just
God, such a shameless Chuan ban. Ugh, disgusting.
We gotta get Chuan at the summit, man.
Actually, you're more of a
We need him
Luo
casting
fan.
more games.
That was fun. I hope we get to do that again.
Well, it's not looking good, LD. Maybe we gotta step in.
Take forward, bro. That's a Wyvern.
Yeah, so they've got Aegis G's. Wyvern is dead. It doesn't really matter who you kill with the Laguna as long as you make it a 5v4. You take out Winter's Curse, it's probably a better kill than killing the Lifestealer.
I'm just watching 430 pop his BKB and run for dear life while Moon relays into him, finishes him off. And now Luo trying to engage onto Tule. They get the wards down as well, but he's healed up, kept alive. Windrun pulling out, still the Aegis holder, and then the big dunk from Bug. Pummel it, G. Once more. It's time, guys. You can call it now. No shame in getting your asses beat.
It's a very important game to decide. I don't think disrespectful staying in the game by any means, but if it wasn't like such an important match, they definitely most teams or any team out there would be just tapping out of it soon.
Nope. No GG from on though, just disconnect. That's a little questionable.
I don't want to.
Especially before anyone on your team says something.
Yeah.
Normally it's like at least one player says GG, then everyone does.